Okay, so for nearly 40 years, a single family has held a tight grip on Cambodia. We're going to break down the story of the Hun Dynasty and really get into the anatomy of their power. So on paper, power has passed from father Hun Sen to his son Hun Manet. But as you can see, the old guard never really goes away. Hun Sen might not be prime minister anymore, but a lot of people say he's still the one pulling all the strings, and that raises a really big question.
To really understand what's happening now and what the future holds, we have to go back. We need to look at how the architect of this whole thing built his foundation of power in the first place.
Yeah, Hun Sen's path to the top is, well, it's a real masterclass in political survival. But sources describe it as a long series of strategic and often pretty ruthless betrayals.
Just take a look at this timeline for a second. Each one of these steps is a calculated betrayal. First, he betrays his Khmer Rouge comrades just to save his own skin. Then he comes riding back into the country with a foreign army to take power. And then when the people vote against him in a UN-backed election, he just rejects the results, threatens a civil war, and forces his way into power anyway.
All right, so how on earth do you hold on to power for 4 decades? Well, according to sources like Human Rights Watch, it's not random. You follow a very specific 4-part playbook.
And this right here, this is the playbook. This is how you create what experts call a hollow shell of democracy. You see, all the parts look real on the outside. You've got courts, police, media, but they all serve just one purpose: to keep the dynasty in power. Any threat, whether it's a political opponent or just a journalist asking too many questions, gets systematically crushed.
And this, of course, brings us to the next generation, Hun Manet, who officially became prime minister back in August 2023.
You know, for a little while there was this big hope. Hun Manet went to school in the West. He's got degrees from the US and the UK. So the world was watching, kind of holding its breath, wondering, hey, maybe this is the start of a new, more open era for Cambodia.
Yeah, that hope didn't last long, at all. Analysis from places like The Diplomat shows the reality is pretty much the exact opposite. Instead of any kind of reform, Cambodia has actually slid even further backwards under the new leadership.
And I mean, the numbers really don't lie. Just look at this. International rankings put Cambodia right near the absolute bottom of the list for both rule of law and for corruption. It really is a case of like father, like son. The apple has not fallen far from the tree.
And just in case there was any doubt, Hun Sen himself completely shut down any idea of reform. When a reporter asked him if his son might rule differently, he said, "Difference means destroying the achievements of the old generation." So in this dynasty, change isn't just a bad idea, it's seen as a betrayal of the family legacy.
So you might be thinking, okay, this is an internal Cambodian issue, right? Wrong. The consequences of this system are spilling way beyond its borders, fueling massive regional crime and even sparking military conflict.
Things have gotten so bad that analysts are now calling Cambodia a mafia state. Think about that for a second. We're talking about a country where the government is allegedly deeply tangled up with these gigantic global cybercrime operations. And these aren't just a few rogue operations. Sources say they're a key part of the economy, protected from the very top.
The scale here is just mind-blowing. Reports estimate these scam operations are pulling in up to $19 billion a year. To put that in perspective, that's nearly half of Cambodia's entire official GDP. That river of money, allegedly flowing to the country's elite, is what fuels the whole system. It's how you buy loyalty and how you fund the dynasty.
And that internal corruption, it's now exploding into external violence, and we're seeing it most clearly in these recent deadly clashes on the border with neighboring Thailand.
And we're not talking about some minor skirmish here. Reports are detailing Cambodian forces firing indiscriminate rocket barrages, BM-21s, straight into Thailand, hitting civilian targets. In just one of these attacks, a rocket slammed into a gas station, killing at least 8 people. The response from Thailand was incredibly swift and serious. They scrambled F-16 fighter jets to bomb Cambodian military positions. That's a severe escalation, and it just shows you how dangerous this has all become.
So all of this leaves us with a really chilling final thought. As the Hun Dynasty digs in and solidifies its power for another generation, its playbook of control and crime is not just a Cambodian problem anymore. It's a genuine threat to the stability of the entire region. The question isn't if it's going to cause more instability, but really, how much?